Hey, what's up, guys? Just got done watching Grub Mud's video. He had a really good message on there. It was good seeing him again. I ain't seen him in a while. And now I know why, but he popped on to pretty much give everybody the most important message that you can get. I can't think of anything more important, especially nowadays. But it was good seeing him again. Grub Mud's a good dude, and made me happy seeing him. I don't know how much longer I'll be doing YouTube either. I never did it to become a big YouTube star. That's the last fucking thing I wanted. I'm typically the type of person that likes to keep my head under the radar and stay in my own lane and mind my own business. I did my YouTube because I thought that's what God wanted me to do. Is maybe tell my story and maybe keep some young person from making the mistakes that I made. But that obviously must not have been what God wanted me to do, because if it was, YouTube wouldn't have been able to take my channel down. Or maybe it's what he wanted me to do and I got sidetracked somehow and didn't do it the way he wanted me to do it. I don't know. But I don't know how much longer I'll be doing my channel neither. I'd like to put up some more videos for family and for friends for when I'm gone and stuff, but it just, I was talking to my friend Judy today, and it got me thinking, how, I don't know, people, I understand you want to know what. A lot of people have this fascination with prison because of the movies, and they got a fascination with the gang banging bullshit. So I understand the interest in wanting to know what prison's like, and I got a good friend. I consider him a friend. Harvey. Harvey Talks Prison. And he busts his butt for his channel. I mean, really, really busts his ass. And the reason Harvey does that, his intentions are good. He wants to try to keep somebody else from going to prison. And he works hard doing his channel. He's put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. And his channel's gotten some followers. But I've come to the conclusion that people don't give a shit about the good messages. They just don't care. People like the drama, and they like the violence, and they like the shit pot being stirred up all the time. It's like Big Flacco. He had some followers, and not a lot, but he had some followers. And the man ends up shooting a couple people. All of a sudden, all these people jump up in his channel. Well, you gotta shoot somebody for people to jump up in your channel. And people are fair weather friends, you know. It's like, oh God, what's his name? Jay. I like Jay. I like Jay a lot. You know, everybody loved Jay. And then he made a mistake, which he owned like a man. Everybody makes mistakes. We all do. But Jay owned his mistake. And he did his time. And while he was in there, people were talking shit about him. Really made me angry, too. Really made me angry. People talking shit on him and running their mouths while he's locked up. You know, like they never made a mistake in their fucking life. And the way I looked at it was, yeah, the man made a mistake. So what? He owned it like a man. He did his time. He paid his price for his mistake. And he's brought a lot more good to YouTube than bad. So I was really kind of pissed off when people started kicking the brother when he was down. I thought that was pussy ass bullshit. But that's the way people are. They'll act like they're your friends, but and they'll expect you to be there for them. But then whenever you need a friend, you'll turn around and they ain't nowhere to be found. And also, you could tell some young person, what it's like to be in prison. The horrors of it. What it's like being in a violent world, a loveless world, where every day you wake up, you might end up dead. And a world where when you go in, there's no guarantee you're going to come out. Because anybody can be killed in prison. They send enough torpedoes at you. Anybody can be got. And you can tell somebody, you can describe it vividly to them. Well, not on YouTube because they censor everything you say, but you can explain to somebody what prison's like. But there's a problem in that. One of the problems is unless they're there, smelling it, tasting it, and wading around in the shit that is prison, all the telling them in the world ain't gonna give them the full flavor. And then the other problem is, and I had the same problem when I was younger. When we're younger, we think we know everything. We think we got shit really figured out, when in reality, we don't know our asses from a hole in the ground. But we think we do, and that's when a young man is at his most dangerous. when he's young, got all that energy, and he thinks he knows what's going on and what the world's all about. But nobody wants to hear the good message. There's this dude, this zombie brain dude, I ran into his channel, just scrolling one day. This guy's, I think it's zombie something, but he dresses up like a clown going diggity, 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 and, you know, give me brains, and El Toro, whoosh, and all this other shit. And he's got like fucking he's halfway to 100,000 viewers. Yeah. Well, it's comical what the dude does, and maybe it's kind of entertaining. And it's different, definitely different than anything I've seen on YouTube. But he's got all these visitors, And what's the message in it? It's got all these subscribers and people watch these videos, but what's the message? Where's the positive message in it? There ain't none. Then you got this other gal. I was watching Harvey one day, and you scroll. They got it now where you barely bump the screen and it goes to the next video live. She's sitting there, got a spoon, and she's making sounds with her mouth, like snap, crackle, pop, going like that with her mouth, and she's acting like she's feeding you with the spoon. And there's like 20,000 people in there watching that shit and sending her money, all kinds of money, to watch her take a spoon and make Rice Krispie treat sounds with her mouth. And then you got guys like Harvey that trying to put a positive message out there. But see, that's just it. I've come to the conclusion that people don't give two shits about a positive message anymore. I think the world is... I agree with what Grub Mud said, our thinking on the whole religious thing is perfectly lined up. And I've been saying to my homie Nate, how come I can see what's going on in the world and people that are better than me seem to be oblivious to it? And he don't know the answer to that, and I don't know the answer to that. But I've pretty much come to the conclusion that trying to put a positive message out and get people to listen to that is just a waste of fucking time. I think the world right now is as good as it's going to get, and I see it just getting worse from here on out. Hate to be negative like that, but I'm just going by the book. Every prophecy in that book has come true to date. Not only come true, but come true in the correct order. So I don't think it's going to start not coming true now. But no, it just gets frustrating and aggravating. And any one of my kids, any one of my children, my wife, they used to get mad at me because somebody would call me and I was out the fucking door, foot on the gas pedal. I used to take homeless people home a couple times a year. And I'm not saying this to say what a great person I am, because I'm not a great person. I'm saying this to say that I have spent my life. My son said that I am too loyal. And I said, Seth, a man cannot be too loyal. He says, yeah, you can, Dad. He said, you are loyal to a fault. You run out the door, even though you could get hurt. There is a point of being loyal where it's self-destructive loyal, where you're constantly putting what's best for you or what's best for other people ahead of what's best for you. But the point is, I have spent my whole life, and when I say my whole life, I mean my whole life, running around, running out the door. Friend needs me, I'm out there, I'm gone, and trying to help people. And now I'm at the end of my life, and I look around, and it's that one person that's always been there. Well, God, of course, but outside of God, my wife. When I need a friend, the friends ain't there. And I remind myself that I don't do things for people to get a reward or to throw it up in their face later on and say, hey, I was there for you, you weren't there for me. Because then you're just being an asshole and you're not doing things for people for the right reason. I decided long ago that you can't expect other people. If you're a giving person and you're a person that cares about other people and helps other people, you can't expect to get that in return. Because most of the times you won't get that in return. You do it because that's what human beings are supposed to do. That being said, I mean, I did that to the point of really, like my family says, my wife and kids, to the point of self-destructive. Always being there for people. And I'm not mad that people aren't there for me when I'm there for them, but it does hurt my heart very much. And I don't mind saying that because it's the truth. And I've always tried to be truthful with my videos and honest. But it sucks that people are like that. So I don't know. I'll probably do my YouTube I got phone numbers of the people that, I've met on YouTube that I think care about me. I talk to them pretty often. I talked to Miss Judy today. But, I mean, I need to put some videos up, finish my kids' videos. I'll do one for my wife too, even though if she don't know what she means to me by now, she never will. There's a song in that somewhere, ain't there? That if you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. There's my extra Rocky Strong sticker. Bada bang, bada boom. I got the other one. Put it right there in my shop. Right by my Hard Intentions one. Rocky's good people. Rocky's the kind of person that I could kick back with Rocky and laugh and have a good time and get along with him. And then Krupp. I've been watching Krupp, man, and Krupp has evolved in front of my eyes. He really has. And I hope they keep trying to put that positive message out there. I'm not trying to deter anybody that's trying to put a positive message out there, because it's a good thing trying to put a positive message out there. And I'm just a fucking old man that don't nobody give two fucks what I got to say anyways. I can't even relate to most people anymore because this world that we live in now, it's nothing like the world I grew up in. But I'm definitely not trying to deter anybody from putting a good message out because it's always good to do that. But Krupp, I've watched Krupp evolve. Krupp has hit the stage in life. The only way I can explain it, I call it that stage in life where we start getting some worldly knowledge. I've watched him really start to look deeper at things, not just the surface, but really go deeper on things. And he's on a good path. he's on a real good path. He's gonna be all right. But yeah, he's hitting that stage. He's not old. He's young enough he can still relate to the younger generations. But he's old enough that he's starting to get that worldly knowledge. He's starting to see what matters and what don't matter. Fortunately, when we're young, we have a bad habit of being more concerned about what matters, like what people think of us, and partying, having a good time all the time, instead of taking care of our families and doing what we're supposed to do. And when you start getting that worldly experience, you'll find that the things that used to matter don't matter as much, and the things that didn't matter the most. But he's definitely in that stage where I've seen it just a short time I've known Krupp. I've seen his mind start to evolve, and he's a deep thinker. Deep thinking's good, but see, Krupp seems to have a better handle on it than I do. He don't just look at the surface. He looks at what's behind it, but he don't obsess on it. Me, I'll get my mind stuck on something. Maybe it's the bipolar, the OCD, I don't know. But I can get my mind just spinning on shit. Like whenever I get really angry. I mean, really angry. The argument can be over, the fight can be over, but it takes a long time for me to wind down and stop being angry. Whenever I get worked up, it's like it takes a long time to gear that back down. And sometimes I look too deep at things. And forget that I'm a human being, and as human beings, our minds are only capable of understanding so much. There's some things we just don't understand, and we never will understand. It's just the way it is. No matter how much we want to, some things we will never ever understand. Some things are for God to understand and not us. But one thing I do understand is old Grub Mud, he's on a good path, and he's definitely right. I mean, I was not a holy roller my whole life. I believe in Jesus Christ, and on my videos, I tell everybody, whenever I interview with them on their channel, at first, before I did YouTube, I went to schools because I felt like if I told my story, maybe I could keep some young kid from doing drugs and going to prison and ruining his life like I did mine. And all the schools naturally would say, well, what do you want to talk about? And I understand that. Well, I do, but the schools talk about things with our children they should not even be talking about. They talk about things that should be the parents' job to talk to the kids about. I seen a video on YouTube the other day. Young girl in grade school confronting a school board, and the things she was reading that was in the book in the library, or no, it was a required reading for her class. It was pornographic, straight up pornographic, where a kid her age had no business reading it. See, they'll push that crap into schools, talking about giving blowjobs and anal sex and all this other stuff, but you can't talk about God. Because every school I went and tried to talk at, and I said, hey, This is what I want to do. Well, what are you going to say? And I'd either write it down or I'd tell them. And every time, oh no, you can't talk about God. Can't talk about God. And I can't tell my story without talking about God. Well, I could, but it would be so disrespectful because the only reason I'm here is because of God Almighty. That's a fact. I'm not here because I'm tough. I'm not here because I'm smart. I'm not still alive because I'm slicker than anybody else. I should have died so many times, and the only reason I'm here is because of God. And Harvey will tell you, I always want to give God credit for what he's done in my life. I'm still not perfect. I got a lot of flaws. But I remember when I accepted God into my life and what a powerful experience that was. And when I got sick, I had time to look back on everything, on my whole life. And I could see how God moved me this way and that way. And how times I thought I got lucky or I got myself through situations, I could see how he was right there with me the whole time. I mean, you don't get hit by a 1969 Camaro doing damn near 50 miles per hour. I'm standing flat-footed. Hit me so hard I flew up in the air, just flipping. Car went underneath me, and I landed flat on my back on the asphalt in the middle of the street. Not one scratch, not one bruise. That just don't happen. I'm sorry. Especially that year, and that car was hot. And he had about a quarter mile to build up speed, and I listened to him all the way to me. He had that foot on that fucking gas pedal, and he wasn't letting up. My buddy Bobby kept saying, get out of the road. I kept saying, he's going to swerve. He didn't swerve. And I just know the people in the car were saying, swerve, and he was saying, he's going to move. But not a scratch. It should have shattered my legs. I've had a gun put to my head and the trigger pulled. And it went click. And guess what? There was a bullet in the chamber. Yeah, one night I got invited out this back roads party. My car broke down. Found out about a week or two later that there was people waiting there to jump me. And I probably wouldn't have come out of that back road party. Been so many times. I've overdosed 2 or 3 times. That bilateral pulmonary embolism. So many times I thought that I should have died and I'm still here. And looking back on my life and something happened whenever I was a kid and having the time to really reflect, not just reflect on my life, but really meditate on it. I thought maybe that's what God wants me to do. Maybe he wants me to tell my story, and maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe it'll help just one person. Maybe they'll take a different path in life. And then when their time comes to die, they won't have to have the regrets that I have. And maybe they'll be able to die in peace a little bit, you know. But it obviously isn't what God wanted me to do, because if it was, ain't no man could have took those videos down. Or, like I said, maybe I got sidetracked and maybe I didn't do it the way that the good Lord wanted me to do it, which could be. And if that's the case, then I failed totally in life. Because I wasn't just doing it for God. That's the main reason, but I was also doing it because I thought, you know what, Mark? If one person hears what you're saying and they alter the course of their life, and they don't have to go through the shit that you've gone through and see the things that you have seen, then your life was for something good and something worthwhile. And right now, the way it's looking, my life was just a complete and utter waste of time, where I spent my time running around worrying about the wrong people and trying to be there for the wrong people. And it doesn't make me angry, like I said, but it makes me sad. And I'm a man, but I still got a right to be sad. And anybody thinks that makes me weak, then I got a dick here you can suck. I don't know. I've been straightening up too, and I can never find what the hell I'm looking for. Spend more time looking for shit than I do working. But yeah, it's just, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that people don't give a fuck about a positive message. That's what I kept bringing up too. I think was causing me problems with the YouTube fucking police. The fact that we have, well, there's less now. They found 60,000 or something like that. But we had over 300,000 children come across that border. And see, the reason I know this is because I watched C-SPAN congressional hearings all the time. Because I like knowing what the fuck's going on in the world. And I actually have more time to do that than most people. Most people are, you want to talk about slavery, I don't want to bust everybody's bubble, but we're all slaves. We are worker bees. There's a certain amount of shit work that has to be done so that a society can function. So you have to have people to do that shit work. Whenever I was a kid, one parent could work and make enough money to support the entire household. And that left time for the other parent to stay home and take care of their kids and teach their kids the morals that the parents had. But fat cats up top got greedy, and the money that they were getting just wasn't enough. If you ever noticed, you're allowed to have enough money to barely tread water. Nowadays, we got, most families nowadays, they say, don't even have but maybe 2 months in the bank to fall back on if something happens. Mom and dad's running, both working. Then you got your kids' sports and all that other shit to do. It's designed that way to keep you fucking distracted. So you don't have all the time that I have to sit back and do your homework and read and research and figure what the fuck's really going on. It's all designed that way. People talk about slavery. We're still fucking slaves. We do all the shit work down bottom. Everything funnels up to the fat cats up top. And we're so stupid that we let the fat cats get us arguing with each other and tearing each other down, which further distracts us and keeps us from seeing what they're doing. People talk about slavery. We're all slaves. We're just a commodity. We're the people that they need to do the shit work so society can function. And then all of our money that we don't need to barely get by funnels up to the top, and they get it. And that's the truth of it. That is the truth of it. They've been building these bunkers for a long time. They got one in Colorado. I know this for a fact. My stepdad had a security clearance working for Honeywell, and he's dead now, so I can say this. But they got a military base there. It's got miles and miles and miles of tunnels and shit inside of that mountain. The top literally opens up. It's a missile silo, but they got all these bunkers that all the rich people have been having dug for a long time. And what do you think would happen? Let's say there's a meteor coming towards this earth, and it's going to hit the earth, and they know that every human being on earth is going to either die in the impact or die not long after that. I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're all going to get their asses inside of that bunker, the ones that have the money, because they feel like they are better than us. They are smarter than us. All the politicians and all the rich people. They'll be up inside of those bunkers. And then, only then, will they let us know. Because, see, they think we're stupid. We're just dumb animals. If they let us know, then it's going to be chaos and anarchy, and they want to hurry up and get their little prissy asses up in there first before all hell breaks loose. But don't think for a second that you are not a slave, because you are. You do all the work, they get all the money. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You got one political party, they'll say they're pro-choice. Pro-choice. But they complain that we don't have enough workers in America. So that was supposedly the excuse that all the borders were opened up, and we're having problems like we have right now with these Somalis ripping the taxpayers off billions of dollars. Let me ask you a question. If they opened up the borders because we don't have enough workers, let me ask you two questions. Then why are they happy to let us kill all of our babies if we need workers so bad? On one hand, you push pro-life. On the other hand, you say we ain't got enough workers. And here's the other question. If the reason the borders were opened up is because we needed more workers and stuff, Does the whole world need more workers? Because if you look at what's going on over there in Europe, France, England, having a hell of a time. And you know what? I don't think it's coincidence that France, England, Australia, all these countries all of a sudden have this surge of illegal immigrants. I think it's all by design. I think the puppet masters decided to do it that way because what I think is that in order for them to run the world with their one world government like they want, so they can be the gods of that one world government. And when I say they, I'm talking about people like George Soros and, the Rockefellers and all these motherfuckers got all this money, so much money they can't spend it. All these powerful people that call us deplorables. All these people that talk about democracy and then they steal elections and they suppress information so that we don't get all the information before an election. Yeah. They don't give two shits about democracy. All they care about is staying in fucking power, making more money for them and their friends. And they don't give a shit about the black men. They don't give a shit about the white men. See, black people, you are not totally alone in that. You think they give a fuck about the white people? Why do you think they're pushing this white man bad bullshit all the time? They don't give a fuck about the white man. They don't give a fuck about the black man. And they keep you going at each other like a bunch of fucking stupid sheep so that you're not focused on what the fuck they're doing. But all that's neither here nor there and really don't fucking matter. Because the Bible says it's going to get worse before it gets better, people. That's why I think what Grub Mud had to say in his video tonight, and that's GRUBBMUDD, Grub Mud. Go check his video out. I think that's the most important thing a man could possibly say in this day and age. And I think he hit the nail right on the head. But that's all I really gotta say. I'm gonna get off here and get done with this shit. Because nobody cares what this old man's got to say anyways. And I'm probably just wasting my breath. But go ahead and check Grub Mud out. His video he just put up today. First one he's done in a while. It was good to see the man. And I was wondering how he was doing, what happened to him. Now I know, and it actually makes my heart happy. Because I know that he's going to be all right. But much respect to the real ones. And the rest of you, I guess it don't matter. But everybody try to have a good one. Peace out.